Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. This is Rusty78609, and this will be a little bit of a departure from any videos I've normally done because I've never done one like this. But what it was, I got back from my walk this morning and I went inside of my little Class C motorhome and I heard somebody outside. It sounded like they were laughing. But it was a strange laughter, and I thought, well, that's unusual. But it was fairly loud and fairly close. So anyway, I went outside, I walked out and got out the door. I thought, well, let's go see what's going on. And I kept hearing this sound, but I couldn't see anybody. And so I started walking around where my neighbor lives across the street. And what it is, she's in her 90s and she had fallen. I mean, when I say she had fallen, I mean she had fallen flat down. I mean, she didn't even put her hands out to block the fall. I could tell from the wound on her head. So it occurred to me that, you know, there's nothing you can do really to prepare yourself. Well, excuse me, back up. As you get older, more than likely, particularly in your 80s, 90s, whatever, you are going to suffer a fall at some point. And so what can you do to prepare yourself for that event? In other words, you know, you can use a walker and all that stuff to try to avoid the fall in the first place. And that's my seatbelt thing. I got to do that. But anyway, so what I did was I went on the internet and I've gone to the Mayo Clinic. And so here's just some of the things you might want to lock into your brain, you older people like me, I'm 76, is that if you fall and you really suffer a good old head bump, don't move unless absolutely necessary, and avoid moving the person's neck because, you know, they could have suffered a broken neck and all that. But if you're conscious, if you're unconscious, you don't have to worry about it. Somebody else is going to take care of your issue. But so if you fall, first thing you want to do is to stop the bleeding or to slow it down. And a head wound, as most of you guys or people know, bleeds like crazy. I mean, if you cut on your forehead, it's just going to bleed like crazy. And it says, you know, it says stop any bleeding, apply firm pressure to the wound with sterile gauze, but don't apply direct pressure to the wound if you suspect a skull fracture. In other words, if you have fallen flat down on your face and you know you're bleeding like crazy, but you can't see your forehead, just kind of dab around, you know, to keep the blood maybe from getting in your eyes and stuff. And also monitor yourself for changes in your breathing and alertness. In other words, if you're dizzy or whatever, then you've probably suffered a concussion. And then it says head trauma that results in concussion symptoms such as nausea, unsteadiness, headaches, or difficulty concentrating should be evaluated by a medical professional. I am not a medical professional, but I'm just giving you a heads up so that when or if that instance occurs where you fall and hit your head. Now, you know, of course, there's other parts of your body too, but mainly your head, and you notice the bleeding and all that stuff. You know, if you're conscious and you're not nauseated and stuff, you probably have not suffered a concussion, but just pretend that you have and go up, you know, through those steps to avoid doing more damage to an already bad situation. And what I would recommend for those of you that are, you know, getting old like me, read about this stuff. Don't be ashamed to read about, you know, people that, you know, that their hips break and then they fall, or they fall and they break their hip. You know, don't be afraid or ashamed or too proud to read about what you need to do in those instances. Why? Because it may save your life. You know what I mean? And you know, or you may be able to save somebody else's life. So again, there's just a lot of normal things that happen as we get older. You know, the old hip breaks and we fall, or we fall and break the hip. That's one. And unsteadiness as we get older. You know, dizziness. You know, you get up out of a chair or something, and as we get older, we kind of start to drag our feet. And God darn, you know, that's just the way it is. Well, when you start dragging your feet, and there's a rock in the way, or in this case, I think it was some brush, which I took an axe and cleared away from her car so she couldn't, the brush would all be cleared so she couldn't hit that again. And but just be aware, even if you've got a walker, that you can still have an incident and read up on what you need to do, and maybe carry some stuff in for you ladies in your purse, for you guys in your pocket, you know, and just like a couple of paper towels or something, because again, a head wound bleeds like crazy, man. I mean, it just goes everywhere. But having said that, that's the little different video, I guess you'd say, and I'm not being negative. I'm just telling you straight up that when you get older, things freaking change, and you better be aware of them, and you better prepare for them, because that old train is a coming. And with that in mind, I'm going to get me a breakfast taco and some unleaded coffee and enjoy my life the best I can. And there goes that damn seatbelt again. Anyway, adios amigos, thumbs up, carpe diem, enjoy your life, bye.